Hi guys, Jill here. Today we're going to do number 4 in the Christmas card series. And again, this is another start to finish card. And we are going to be using this Hampton Arts stamp set. And this one was another Michael's stamp set that I got at the end of the season in 2015 at Michael's at the huge price of $2.24. It doesn't have a name or a unique number. All of them were 709, and I used a few of the elements here. I just love that poinsettia, but I also think that could be made into a few different flowers. So first we're going to use a tag from my stash, and I'm going to put that onto a craft mat. And we're going to cover that with the Spun Sugar Distress ink, and I'm using a mini blender foam. As with any of the inks, you're going to want to start off of the paper for a nice smooth blend, and then once I get that blend, you're going to spray it with the Distress sprayer, and then I'm going to use the Perfect Pearl spray and just splatter that on, and it gives kind of a chunky splatters, I guess, with that mica spray. So my craft mat is on top of a piece of fun foam, so it's good for stamping with these type of stamps because you always want something to support them. So today I'm using Bristol paper, and I'm using my Onyx Black ink. And like I've said before, you want to be sure to keep that piece of, looks like fabric that comes with it. I'm going to be using my Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers to color in the poinsettias. I'm doing really simple coloring. Really, I'm just using 2 colors, not even blended together, and that's for each part. So for the flowers, I'm using 2 reds. I'm using 020 red and 029, which is geranium red. And I'm just doing the right side red and the left side geranium red. And I'll just be showing the one poinsettia as I color it in. And it goes really fast. And then with the leaves, I'm using 043 olive green and 046 mid green. And as a lot of people have pointed out with the Bristol paper, these markers are just so smooth on the Bristol paper, and when you are blending with them, you don't need water. And which again, obviously I'm not doing any blending here, but if you do, they just go on really smooth. So we're gonna jump ahead in a minute here, and you'll suddenly see the other poinsettias colored in, which is nice and convenient. So what I'm using for the centers is the Viva Pearl pen in gold, and just be sure to test it off of your piece that you're using it on. And I'm using a very light touch here, and then you'll just want to tap it from the back to level those circles. Okay, so for the background, I'm using this Hero Arts stamp and emboss set, and I got that at Tuesday morning. And so I'm going to ink up the stamps with the Brilliance ink Pearlescent Ivy, and I'm going to leave the stamp on its back, and then put the sage green paper onto the stamp. I'm going to add a piece of scrap paper, and then hold the paper down with one hand, and then rub it with the other, and then hold it down with the other hand while I rub it with the other hand. You just always want to have one stationary hand. It doesn't even have to be that perfect of an imprint because we are going to emboss it, which is a really nice feature of these Stamp and Emboss embossing folders. Okay, so I've run that through the Cuttlebug. So now we're going to attach the layers. Oh, I'm sorry. First, I'm going to go ahead and stamp the tag. And this I'm stamping with the greeting. I'm using that same Pearlescent Ivy embossing ink. Well, just the ink, but I am going to emboss it. I just stamp it, and I'm using that clear detail embossing powder, funnel back the extra, and then I'll just heat set it. And that just brings out the green. Okay, so now I'm using my Silver Pilot pen with the medium tip on the green layer. I'm using the gold on the tag, and I'm using the silver and gold to kind of play off of each other in this card, a little bit of each. And then I'm going to attach the layers. I'm using a nice heavy tape because there are several layers that are dimensional. Like this one's embossed. The card itself is embossed. I'm using a card from the Michaels. The area that they have at Michaels where they're $5 or 70% off. That's where I got the cards from, and they're textured. And so I just want a really good bond. So I'm using that instead of my Scotch tape from my HEG gun. Okay, so now that those layers are together, we're going to do the tag. And for the tag, I'm going to cut out the poinsettias as well as cut this die cut. The die cut is from my Tim Holtz Movers and Shapers, and I just cut this out of gold paper. And here I'm trying to glue it on. I tried first my mono adhesive, then my Scotch Quick Dry, and the winner was my matte medium. The other two were clogged. So then on the back I taped it with just some good old Scotch tape. Make sure it stays there. And then on the front I used the matte medium again, so that the swirls that are on the front are stuck down. Okay, so then I'm going to cut out the poinsettias. I'm not going to torture you with this part, so I did cut this out of the video. And then a nice trick that I've learned over time is just run a pen, a black pen, I use the Memento, along the edges, and it makes it look like you cut them perfectly, especially with thick paper like the Bristol. So, oh, and I used my Cutter Bee scissors to cut those out. Mine are just blue. And, okay, so then we're going to attach those poinsettias to that tag with the matte medium. So I'm going to cut out a lot of my fiddling with the foam squares at the end here. I put a lot of foam squares on the back. I cut some of them up so that they could go behind the swirls. And I just pretty much used what I had on hand here. So as always, I'd really appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. And thank you so much for stopping by. And thanks for watching, and have a great day.